Ancient Greece, a civilization that flourished centuries before the birth of Christ, left an indelible mark on the world. We remember Greece for its philosophers like Socrates, who challenged conventional thinking. We remember its artists, who gave us timeless sculptures like Venus de Milo. This era, often dubbed the Golden Age of Greece, was a beacon of intellectual and artistic brilliance. The Greeks, with their independent city-states like Athens, were pioneers in democracy, theatre, mathematics, and astronomy, shaping the intellectual landscape for generations to come. However, even the most radiant stars eventually dim. By the 4th century BC, the Greek world, once vibrant and dominant, began to show signs of decline. This period, marked by both internal strife and external pressures, would forever alter the course of Greek history. The seeds of this decline were sown not by external forces, but from within the very heart of Greek society. Political infighting, economic troubles, and social upheaval all contributed to the weakening of the once mighty Greek city-states. The Peloponnesian War, a protracted and devastating conflict between Athens and Sparta, two leading Greek city-states, marked the beginning of the end. This war, driven by deep-seated rivalries and mutual distrust, would have lasting repercussions. This war, lasting for almost 3 decades, drained Greece's resources and manpower. The relentless fighting left cities in ruins and populations decimated, creating a power vacuum that would be difficult to fill. It fractured the unity of the Greek world, leaving it vulnerable to external threats. The once cohesive Greek identity began to splinter as city-states turned inward, focusing on their own survival rather than collective strength. The once strong and independent city-states were weakened, their power diminished by years of internal conflict. The social fabric of Greece was torn apart, and the sense of shared purpose that had once united the Greeks was eroded. The Peloponnesian War marked a turning point, exposing the internal divisions that plagued the Greek world. These divisions were not just political, but also cultural and economic, further deepening the rifts between city-states. City-states, once united by a shared language and culture, were now locked in bitter rivalries. The common bonds that had once held them together were fraying, making cooperation increasingly difficult. This disunity played into the hands of rising powers like Macedon, a kingdom on the northern periphery of the Greek world. Macedon, under the leadership of its ambitious rulers, saw an opportunity to expand its influence. Philip II of Macedon, a shrewd and ambitious ruler, recognized the opportunity presented by Greece's fragmentation. He was determined to exploit these weaknesses to his advantage. He exploited these divisions, skillfully playing one Greek city-state against another. Through a combination of military prowess and strategic alliances, Philip II began to assert Macedonian dominance. By a combination of military might and cunning diplomacy, Philip II gradually extended his influence over the Greek mainland. His campaigns were marked by both brutal conquests and shrewd political maneuvers. His son, Alexander the Great, inherited a powerful kingdom poised to reshape the geopolitical landscape. Alexander's ambitions would take him far beyond the borders of Greece, creating an empire that spanned continents. While Alexander's conquests spread Greek culture eastward, they also marked the end of Greece's political independence. The city-states that had once been the cradle of democracy and philosophy were now under Macedonian control. The once mighty city-states, weakened by internal strife and outmaneuvered by Macedon, became mere pawns in a larger game. Their legacy, however, would live on, influencing civilizations for centuries to come. The Roman Republic, meanwhile, was steadily gaining prominence on the Italian peninsula. This rise was not sudden, but a result of centuries of strategic alliances, military conquests, and political reforms that strengthened Rome's position. The Romans, known for their military discipline and strategic acumen, had gradually expanded their influence, eventually turning their attention eastward. Their legions were well-trained, their strategies innovative, and their leaders ambitious, all contributing to their unstoppable momentum. The fragmented Greek world, weakened by internal conflicts and Macedonian dominance, presented a tempting target for Roman expansion. The once unified Greek city-states were now shadows of their former glory, embroiled in endless disputes and power struggles. In 146 BC, the Roman legions, led by Lucius Mummius, laid siege to Corinth, a strategically important Greek city. This siege was not just a military maneuver, but a calculated move to break the backbone of Greek resistance. The Battle of Corinth was a decisive Roman victory, marking a turning point in the history of the Mediterranean world. The defeat of Corinth symbolized the end of an era and the beginning of Roman dominance. Corinth, once a symbol of Greek prosperity and culture, was razed to the ground, a stark reminder of Rome's growing might. The destruction was thorough, leaving behind ruins that spoke of Rome's unyielding power and determination. The fall of Corinth sent shockwaves throughout the Greek world. The news spread quickly, causing panic and despair among the remaining Greek city-states, who now faced the reality of Roman supremacy. It signified the end of Greek political autonomy and the rise of Rome as the dominant power in the Mediterranean. The balance of power had shifted dramatically, with Rome now at the helm, steering the course of history. The Romans, however, were not merely conquerors. They were also astute assimilators of culture. They understood the value of Greek knowledge, art, and philosophy, and sought to integrate these elements into their own society. They recognized the sophistication of Greek civilization, and instead of seeking to erase it, they chose to embrace it, albeit on their own terms. This blending of cultures enriched Roman society, creating a unique fusion that would influence the world for centuries to come. Rome's relationship with Greece was complex, a blend of admiration and appropriation. The Romans were deeply fascinated by Greek achievements in various fields, from philosophy to the arts. The Romans, ever pragmatic, recognized the cultural capital of Greece. They saw the immense value in Greek knowledge and sought to integrate it into their own society. They saw the value in incorporating elements of Greek culture into their own, using it as a tool to legitimize their rule and project an image of power and sophistication. This strategic assimilation helped Rome to elevate its own cultural standing. Roman elites began to study Greek philosophy, literature, and art. They immersed themselves in Greek thought, believing it would enhance their intellectual and cultural prowess. They hired Greek tutors for their children, ensuring that the next generation of Romans would be well versed in the classics. This education was seen as essential for cultivating a refined and knowledgeable ruling class. Greek architecture, with its emphasis on grandeur and symmetry, influenced Roman building projects, evident in the temples, basilicas, and amphitheaters that dotted the Roman landscape. These structures symbolized Rome's power and cultural sophistication. This assimilation, however, was not without its limits. The Romans were discerning in their adoption of Greek elements, ensuring that they retained their own unique identity. The Romans were selective in their embrace of Greek culture, adapting it to suit their own tastes and political needs. They modified Greek art and architecture to reflect Roman values and aesthetics. Greek gods were absorbed into the Roman pantheon, often with new names and attributes. This blending of religious practices helped to unify the diverse peoples within the Roman Empire. Greek literary classics were translated and reinterpreted, imbued with Roman values and sensibilities. This cultural exchange enriched Roman literature, making it a cornerstone of Western civilization.